Um, all right, so let's jump into it. Well, thank you guys for joining me. I do have a cool little presentation that I'm going to take us through. But before I do, I just want to introduce myself if you guys don't know me and the Lead the Way Fitness brand. So my name's been Dustin Bogle. I've been a trainer, certified 16 years now, gym owner for 10 years. And that is not meant to impress you or to say anything other than that. I just have a lot of just reps under the bar, you could kind of consider it. And so I just want to pass on what I've learned and help you guys, because that's why I became a trainer. Is that I was once overweight. I was actually 60 pounds overweight at one point in my life, and I just felt like crud. I didn't like how my body looked. I was even talking about this with a client the other day, that like I can speak to clients so like easily because I was a client. I know what it's like to wear a big shirt during the summer because you're not happy with how your stomach looks, or to be happy to take the pictures, but you don't want to be in the picture, or all the little neat poses where you can kind of like look, a little bit more slim if you turn to the side or you cover your body up, or, all these little things that we do because we're insecure about our body. And it's just not a fun way to live. And so you notice the people who are fit, they stand a little taller, they walk into a room, they command attention, they are fine wearing clothes or fine not wearing clothes, right? And so like that's what we want. And so what I didn't know when I became a trainer is I thought I was going to just be helping people burn calories and lose fat. But what I didn't know was that they were really after the root thing was confidence, right? We can all have like insecurities. And so confidence unlocks a lot of wonderful things in our life. It makes us go and take that risk that we didn't know we would ever take, or go ask for the promotion, or go talk to the guy or girl across the room, or go say yes to some sort of trip or vacation that we've always dreamed of, but we don't because we are lacking that confidence. So that's what I realized fitness really gives a lot of people that I didn't think about in the beginning. And so that's why, again, I'm very passionate about helping people in this way. So I know exactly what, you guys are going through. If you're struggling with weight loss, like that's me. And so the good news is I've learned how to get my body to burn fat and to respond to different stimulation. But I also know that we all are unique. No one, like I could literally have you do what I do and it might not work for you. And it's because we all have unique backgrounds. We have different upbringings. We ate different amount of foods in different, frequencies and different volumes. We have different, cultures that we eat different foods, right? And so some of us are under eaters and some of us are overeaters and some of us are stress eaters. And so some of us are celebratory eaters, right? So, and some of us will do all of it, right? And so that puts you in a unique position than someone else. That's why your friend can go on keto and lose 10 pounds and you can literally follow the plan and lose nothing, because whatever their unique background experience was, their body responded to that stimulation, and whatever your unique background was, it didn't respond to that. So that's why, there's that famous phrase that, comparison's the thief of joy, because the minute you say, why don't I have what they have, you just beat yourself up. And if you are like me, triggered by emotions into food, you're gonna, kind of start going down a bad path, right? So we have to be conscious of that. So realize on your journey, it is you versus you. It is you, basically improving yourself and bettering yourself and learning about yourself. Like I know the foods that hurt my body and that my body doesn't like, and somebody else can eat that just fine and feel nothing. And so you have to be your own body detective and food detective and start to gather clues and start to understand what my body likes in the gym, in the kitchen, when I'm sleeping, how does it respond to, all these different stimulations, and then do what's best for you. And that's really what I want to start this whole, kind of conversation with. All right. So I am going to jump into this neat little slide deck. So the one thing I want to start with is our mission, okay? Our mission at Lead the Way Fitness is to help people get more healthy and fit, and to do it through coaching, because there's a lot of bad information that exists out there. We've heard of these crazy diets like the HCG diet, telling people to eat 500 calories a day. We've heard about diets where you notice they tend to get more and more extreme. It's either like vegan and vegetarianism, like just swearing off animal-based protein, all the way to carnivore. I am only going to eat animals and I will eat no fruits and vegetables. And so that's how the diet industry tends to work. They tend to make things very extreme because they know, unfortunately, they can prey on people. And most people think the more extreme, the better results. The more my body will respond. I need a kick in the pants. I need something hardcore. That's all you see in fitness marketing. And so the first thing I want to like really point out is like those things never have long lasting results. Sure, you can do something really hardcore for a short period of time, but we are going to live many years. Hopefully, that's our goal for you guys, to help you live and have that longevity. So the answer is, what can I do and commit to for many years to come? And if you can't do it forever, you should do it never, you know? So that's my first little zinger for the night is, can't do this forever, then do it never. And it's just because this is a long play game. All right. So our mission by the end of the year 2022 is we want to actually create 45 transformation stories. And that does not mean just those typical before and afters in our clients. Is we want people getting stronger. We want people getting off of medication. We want people getting confidence. Everybody has a different version of their, you know, before and after, but we want those 45 transformation stories to come up to the light by the end of the year 2022. And that's because when people share their stories, they then create a ripple effect and inspire other people to get healthy and fit. And one of the greatest examples, The Biggest Loser. How many people just went out their door and started walking more or eating healthier or just changing because another person on their TV screen shared their story? So that's what we want for you guys or any of our clients that lead the way, is to not be afraid to share your story, because your story inspires people and it gets more people to get healthy and fit. And that's what it's really after. All right. So that's who we are, what we do. We are not an open gym. We are a personal training facility. So that's kind of what I want to let you guys know. All right, so we're gonna have some fun here, guys. So we're gonna get into these 4 jump starts to jumpstart your metabolism. And the first one is all about food, okay? So I wanna ask, does anybody know what a single ingredient food is? Could you give me one? Could anybody, whether you can unmute and throw out an idea or drop it in the chat, I'll take either one. Does anybody know what a single ingredient food is? Yeah, go for it, Sharon.
How about sugar?
Yes, that is definitely, you could take that off a sugar cane and that is a single ingredient standalone. Any other foods come to mind that you could eat in a meal?
Protein.
Okay, yeah, there's plenty of sources. So you're going in the same direction as I did. So basically, these are some single ingredient foods. Okay, veggies, Raymond, very good. Okay, so a single ingredient food means it does not need a label. You probably will never see a label on these foods because the food is the ingredient is the food, right? Like when you make maybe a dish, it might call for some potatoes and then some, you know, like put some cheese and put some garlic. And so like that's all ingredients in a dish. But when you are looking at the food, that itself could just be the food. You don't need anything else on it. And so that's an apple. An apple's an apple. You could grab an apple, eat it. It needs no other ingredients, right? It's a single ingredient food. A potato, a piece of steak, a chicken, right? Anything like veggies, yes, carrots, broccoli. These are all single ingredient foods. So the number one thing that I'm going to start with on this call is talking about processed foods, okay? And how those things actually slow down your metabolism. There's been just so many numerous cases that the more and more processed food that our country eats, the more and more obesity goes up. And so does this, you know, immediately affect your metabolism? No, it's like a dimmer switch. It just slowly over time. And there's just a lot of different things that go into it. Number one, the more ingredients that are in a food, the harder it is on your digestion. All right. So these are all your single ingredients foods. I'm going to show you guys now food with tons of ingredients. And that's just your standard Ritz cracker. All right. So we got enriched flour, niacin, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 ingredients to make a cracker. Right. And if most people don't catch this, look at the bottom third one here, high fructose corn syrup. So that is sugar. That is another name for sugar. There's about 30 different names for sugar. That is sugar being put into a cracker, which should just be like wheat, right? It should be like wheat and grain tasting. So high fructose corn syrup, and then right here on the label, you see total sugar 1. Why will this affect your metabolism, right? Number one, single ingredients foods are very easy for your body to digest. It was designed to scan and to understand a blueberry and a piece of chicken and a carrot. Like our bodies are built to digest cleanly single ingredient foods. They tend to have no or very low sugar. Like most single ingredient foods, other than what you brought up, Sherry, like that's pure sugar, but most single ingredient foods have far less sugar. So it's almost hard to eat a lot of sugar when you're eating single ingredient foods. And they're hard to overeat because they are already designed to have the things in them that fill us up, which is mainly protein and fiber. So when you eat, people could get concerned. Hey, Dustin, you said watch your sugars. Why are you telling us to eat fruit? Well, I say nobody really got overweight from eating too much watermelon, and nobody is 50 pounds overweight from eating too many bananas and berries and apples, because you know what? Those things automatically fill you up when you eat them. The water in the food or the fiber in the food, they stop you at some point automatically. Why can we eat a whole carton of ice cream? Why can we eat a whole bag of M&Ms? How come we could eat, no problem, a whole, like line of crackers out of this bag, or a whole row of Oreos? Because these foods don't fill you up. They are palatable, and they have a lot of artificial ingredients that just make you want to keep eating them and never feel full, because they do not have protein and they do not have fiber. Look at the label on this one. Fiber doesn't even exist, and then protein, it says less than 1 gram. So both of those things are not existent. If I go back to my first example, the apple and the potato both are very full of fiber, so you could tend to eat one. But what happens when you make a potato into French fries and you process them? Can we just eat gorgeous and gorgeous amount? What if you take that potato, make it a potato chip? It's been processed, it's been fried, it has 20 ingredients. Can't you polish off a whole bag? Well, if I put 3 whole potatoes in a bag, I don't even know if you'd finish a whole one, right? And so that's what happens. We go get the tortilla chips. It's kind of interesting to see how many tortillas that would be if you laid them out on the table and made them in the shape of a tortilla. What the heck? I just ate 5 tortillas right now because they're fried, they're processed, and they make them way more palatable, okay? Those I mentioned were my fiber examples, apples and potatoes. Well, the steak one is my protein example. Protein and fiber fill you up. So the first thing you could do to jumpstart your metabolism is increase your protein, increase your fiber, and decrease your processed foods. They're the number one thing that makes people overeat way more than they normally can. And so go through your cabinet, go through your kitchen, look for those suspects. Say, what do I eat absurd amounts and I still don't feel full? That is a signal to you it is a processed food. Now go through your kitchen, your cabinet, say, what do I eat very little of and I feel very full? Chances are those are single ingredient foods. Your body tells you everything you need to do. You need to know with your hunger signals. It's just we often miss them or don't listen to it. So that's your first one, guys, to rev up your your metabolism and to help you burn more fat, is to just make that simple switch. A lot of times as coaches, we're helping our clients increase their protein. And again, I'm a big fan of increasing fiber too, and then reducing processed foods. And that's right there is a magic for many of our clients. All right. So hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully that helped you guys understand why coaches and trainers say this to their clients, because I believe education is important. We need to know why we're hearing these things in this piece of advice. Okay. Second jump start. All right. The second jump start here is getting, you'll get better recovery, this should be reversed. You'll get better results when you focus on getting better recovery. All right. So a lot of people just focus on the work of fitness, the sacrifice, the early mornings and working hard in the gym and lifting heavier and, get my watch. I'm going to track my calories burn, and I got to work harder. I got to do more days. I got to do doubles. And I'm here to tell you that recovery is just as important, if not more, than the workouts. Okay. And so a lot of people, excuse the pun, sleep on recovery. But the truth is, the recovery is where the magic happens for your results. Okay. Here's a perfect example. They did a study where they took half the people, or they put 2 groups on the same diet, One group only got 5.5 hours of sleep for a month. The other group got 8 hours a night for in sleep in a month. And the results were clear. The group who slept 8 hours a night they saw 60% more fat loss. The 5.5 hours, the majority of their weight loss was 60% muscle. All right. And so they did not give them any type of, workout plan. They wanted to be just diet and then a study on sleep. And so that is essentially what happened when you're not eating enough, or you're not getting enough sleep. You're missing a very key hormone, and that is human growth hormone. All right. You release it in a very abundant amounts when you sleep. It's the #1 hormone for burning fat. All right. And so you release it while you're sleeping. So what if there was this magical, stuff that you can release into your body that burns fat, and it exists? It's called HGH, but you only get 8 hours of it. You want to get 8 hours of it, or do you want to get 5.5 hours of it? And so you can see that compounding effect that, one night, okay, big deal. It's 2.5 hour difference, but then 2 nights, well, now they got 5 hours of more HGH. And so as the month goes on, there might be hundreds of hours that they got more HGH release in their body. And then that compounded to them burning more fat. All right. So again, make this a priority. If you're one of those people that gets really interrupted sleep, or, inadequate amount of hours of sleep, the best thing I could tell you is it's cold and dark. That's the simple, formula to get the best sleep of your night. And, again, it's cold. When I say cold, it's like 66 to 69 is like the sweet spot. And a lot of people don't like it that cold, but like you get some of the best, deepest sleep you've ever had when it's a little bit cooler, and then pitch black. Like if you could get blackout curtains, there's a lot of screens in beds these days. So it's like your phone is face down, you don't have a clock that's like shining on you. You don't have any patio lights. All those things really interrupt your sleep pattern. So it's all about, blacking out the room, making it dark, making it cold. And that's really what's going to help you with, again, that kind of leads into my third one, which is about hormones. So that's pretty much, the whole premise behind that. I've been talking a lot. I actually want to take a pause and ask, does anybody got any questions? I know I've been covering a lot of information, but I like to stop and say, hey, do you have any questions about, your diet with a single ingredient foods, or your sleep and your recovery? Does anybody got any like special, unique situations they need to bring up?
I have one question,
Yeah.
Dustin. I've been struggling with selecting a protein drink. I do continue to work out, and I was just going to go grab my jar to go see what's on the back of it, but it's the organic one from Sam's Club. It's the organic protein.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
on
that will not be a single ingredient food, but that's like one of those times that like it's as best and as pure as you can get. And so organic is definitely something that I'm a big fan of. So yeah, that is probably great. What I'm more concerned when it comes to bars and shakes is their macro ratio. So I just want to see it's lean in carbs and sugar and very high in protein. And then, I mean, the biggest thing is like, that's the science of it. But I know at the end of the day, as a consumer, it's got to taste good. So if you get like really crummy tasting protein, but it's scientifically perfect, just no one's going to drink it. No one's going to consume it. So if it checks both those boxes, it tastes decent, and then it's got good macros, we're good. That's like the least of your worries. So
awesome. Thank you.
Good. All right. Thank you for that. Any other questions, guys, regarding sleep or single ingredient foods and diet and those types of things? No? Okay. Well, the one thing I would say as well is when it comes to sleep, avoid eating right before bed. And it's because you're activating your digestion. And so it's kind of like, it's why another reason you don't want to have caffeine before bed, right? And so you're activating your digestion as you're trying to go into sleep. And so you're telling your body to do two things at once. You're like, break down this food and get quiet and get to sleep and start, burning fat. And so 2 to 3 hours before bed, I would say, is the cutoff to try to like, again, this is for you if you have really bad sleep. Like, this is an area I have no problem. I could drop right down in the middle of a concert and go to sleep. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I could sleep through a war. Like, I sleep great. But some people, I know that this is a trouble zone. So that's why I try to help in that area. So that is that. This is a good question. Do naps count towards the 8-hour goal? They are definitely great, and they do count, but like it doesn't count in the way of like, let me get 4 here and 4 there. It's long interrupted sleep that gets you the best results for fat loss. Like you will mentally feel better and you'll feel good, but you know, you will not get ideal fat loss results if that's what you're chasing. I don't know if that's what you're chasing, Raymond. Are you chasing fat loss, or are you chasing strength, or something else? If you could drop that. Fat loss. Okay. Yeah. So it's better than not doing them. Like, don't let me stop you from doing naps, but it's not the same as doing a full, you know, 8-hour sleep. That's always going to be the best way to go, because we get more hours in that deep REM sleep, which is definitely good for recovery. And then again, if you're training, you're sore, sleep helps with that. It does a lot of magical things. So yeah. All right, we're gonna go onward here, guys. Moving on. Oops, I went into my wrong slide deck here. Here we go. All right, so that is that for sleep. So again, for those that say, hey, I feel like my metabolism's slow, my metabolism's off, I tend to find that that crew is the underslept crew. They're the zombies. They're not getting enough sleep. The bags under the eyes, and they're pointing at their metabolism like I got dealt a bad deck of cards. But this is one of those things that you are like not doing that will make it get back to being on track and working at an optimal level. All right, number 3 kind of goes hand in hand with that, and that is balancing your hormones. Okay, this gets thrown around a lot, and I'm just going to preface this with, I'm no doctor. I can't tell you the exact levels that everything needs to be, but you should get at least an annual checkup on all of your hormones and see where they are. You know, your thyroid, your testosterone, everything, and just say, hey, doc, am I in the normal ranges for my health? I even did this, and I could have sworn I thought the testosterone was low, and I went and got checked, and she said, you're actually totally healthy. And so I was like, all right, I can't blame it on that. No more, more of that excuse. Another one I get thrown around is, thyroid. Like, I got a slow thyroid, I got a hypo or hyperthyroid. And so people will kind of just throw their hands in the air and give up because they think they have that. And then they go get checked and they don't have anything, or they do, which is good, because now you get medication to get it regulated and get it to be at normal levels. But, your body, you can't get your metabolism to burn the optimal amount of calories if your hormones are off. So a couple simple things. Number 1, we have to manage stress, right? Stress balance is huge. If you're living in a chronically stressed state, which means you're underslept, you're underfed, you're over exercising, that can totally throw your hormones off. And your body was meant to have rhythms. It was meant to be stressed out and then recover, and stressed out and recover, and kind of go through this pendulum swing. But if it's, you're burning the candles at both ends, it's constantly stressed out, it gets no sleep, then you wake up and it's 6 cups of coffee, then it's a stressful day at work and you're running the kids around, and then you go and you do like an extra long 2-hour workout, then you stay up again till midnight, and then, you're slinging energy drinks. You could see how you're going to stress your body out. And it's like excessive caffeine, under eating, like really starving your body, under sleeping, and over moving, over exercising. That is the complete recipe to throw off your hormones and jack up your body. And so you got to listen if your body is telling you these signals. So, that's the first thing, is managing stress. So it's like literally trying to plan stress relieving activities in your day. And one of the best ones by, all of the scientific studies is a simple walk. And it's like this crazy foreign activity that we don't do enough in America anymore. What, walking? Like, isn't that just for old people? Isn't that too simple? No, because the average American at this time gets 4,000 steps a day, and we should be getting 10,000 plus, right? And so if we are only getting 4,000, because like me, I got a home office, I'm standing up at my working desk all day. It's pretty easy. I walk to my kitchen and then I come back, and I walk to the bathroom and I come back. And I've done it where I've gotten as low as 1,800, right? And I'm a physical trainer and I'm trying to work out in the gym and everything. So it's like, I have to make a conscious effort to get out and move and walk, right? So it is very easy. If you get up, you drive in a car to work, you sit at a desk, you drive home, you sit down in front of the TV and watch Netflix, which is a common schedule for a lot of people, to easily fall under 4,000 steps. here's why that throws off your metabolism. Number one, when you are walking, you're activating more of your muscles, right? Your body weight is on your legs, your body weight is on your core. You're having to, adjust yourself. If you're sitting, it's more and more deactivation of your core, and now you're going to get lower back pain. So just more time standing. That's why I like the standing desk, and I encourage people to get up and walk. You're activating all your muscles in your body. The other thing is it helps with digestion, right? Like we've had our own experience. We know people who went to the hospital and they're put up in the hospital bed. And they said, it's been 3 days. I haven't been to the restroom. And it's because that's why they get them up and they try to get them to walk around, because it moves the food through your body. And then you can be regular and go number 2 to the restroom. Walking improves your digestion, right? So if you feel like you're bloated, if you feel like, again, you have a slow metabolism, I would challenge you to track your steps. I bet if you just started adding more walking, you would start to see some fat loss. You would start to feel better. You'd start to see that bloat go away. And again, if you're hitting that, good, this box is checked. You can check my other ideas here. But most people, again, it's a very high amount of people are not getting enough just basic movement, and they're quick to blame it on their hormones and metabolism when they're not doing the simple stuff. The final thing I would say, as a past stress eater, I feel like I've gotten it much better under control, is it is a non-calorie stress relief. And so when you are an emotional eater and your way of handling stress is to go into the pantry or go get a handful of whatever, walking could be an alternative that is not calorie related. And that's one of the biggest things that I try to coach clients to find is like, what is your reward that is not a calorie? Because if you have a history of giving yourself food, like, a dog giving a treat, good job today at work, let's kick back and have a beer. Oh, you passed that test. We're going out to eat. You graduated, dinner's on me. It's this big birthday. Let's have a cake. Every celebration, or even like when you're down, is the way you respond to stress is a calorie. That is a learned behavior that you want to break and replace it with a non-calorie stress reliever. So maybe I'm going to pop on a yoga video. Maybe I'm going to go for a walk. Maybe I'm going to walk my dog. I'm going to ride my bike. I'm going to read a book. I'm going to listen to a podcast. But everything I'm giving you is nothing to do with food. And that is something that you want to try to like relearn as a new behavior. It's like, oh, I'm stressed. It's time for my stress relieving technique that is not food related. And that is something you got to build into yourself. So again, that also will help, because when I'm talking about balancing your hormones, well, you have food hormones that tell you to eat, and they have hormones that tell you that you're full. And so when we are just eating out of emotion, those hormones get thrown off, because they're like, whoa, why are we eating? Like you just ate 30 minutes ago. And so you don't tend to have normal rhythms to those, ghrelin and the other hormones that trigger our body. So this is Jumpstart number 3, is to first do the simple stuff. You should get a panel check and see how your hormones are, make sure that they're correct for your age and your body weight and all these types of things. But then the simple fixes is, we said earlier, sleep is one of the best ways to regulate your hormones. Then we want to find a non-calorie stress reliever, and we want to make sure that we're getting that 10,000 steps in a day, which is a task for some people. We did a challenge at our gym where we said for the entire month of March, try to walk 10,000 steps. And it was pretty, eye-opening how many people, when they started tracking that, they were not hitting that, and that this was work, and they had to plan. They're like, oh my God, it's almost the end of the day. I'm only at 7,000. We got to go outside, honey. We got to go for another walk. And it took like conscious effort to hit 10,000. So that's, proof that we're in a gym and we're working with a lot of active people, and they were not even hitting 10,000. So that's the beauty of these little smartphones that we carry around now, is that most of them have a pedometer built into them. You don't got to go out and buy another device. You just got to open the app and just see where you are. That's a simple step that, again, we poo-poo because it seems too easy. It seems like the thing that the old people do. They walk, but nope. If you're a very sedentary person, you need to walk. So that is Jumpstarter number 3. All right. And then last but not least, guys, is where Jumpstarter 4, and that is lifting weights ... properly. Okay, because lifting weights with improper form, I can speak from experience, can give you an injury. All right. And so I'm one of these guys that was like all hyped up one day. I was watching a video and this guy's like just talking smack. He's like, you're not really squatting. with dumbbells unless you touch them to the ground. So I was like, all right, I got you, man. I'll touch them to the ground. So I go grab, some heavy dumbbells and I'm squatting them, touching the ground, which you should not be doing. That's way below parallel with your legs. And, I was just like an idiot, and I was young in my lifting career, and I was just like doing it. And I didn't feel nothing. But then the simplest thing is where I got hurt. My wife's like, hey, can you climb up that ladder and change that light bulb? And I went up, and just like stretching out my spine and reaching up to do it, I was like, oh my God, something's wrong. And I got on the ground. I literally felt like I was paralyzed. Like, like I couldn't lift I was telling my leg to lift itself and I couldn't. We had to go to a chiropractor, and they're like, oh yeah, you're jacked up. What were you doing? I told them the story, and they just smacked their head. Like, so I'm a fitness trainer, and I've jacked myself up. Right. And so like all of us, it's funny, as intimidating as people get about the gym, very little injuries actually happen in the gym. It's little goofy things like that. Like you get out of the car and you twist your ankle, you pick up a box and you're kind of like cockeyed to the side. And like, that is the main cause of most injuries. It's just not actually where we're conscious of our lifting form is actually in the gym. And that's probably why people don't get hurt. But where we kind of just like half-ass it, we're just like picking something up, is where we get hurt. So it's like, if we approached every lifting our kids, lifting a box around the house, whatever, with form like we were in the gym, most people would probably be safe and not get hurt, right? So the first or the final one here, guys, is lifting weights ... properly. So here's the kicker. Muscle is the #1 way to improve your metabolism. If you feel like you got a slow metabolism, this is the #1 way to kickstart it and to get it going a lot hotter, a lot faster, okay? Here's the #1 thing that's interesting. People tend to blame age. And that's actually not the reason that your metabolism is slowing down. They think, uh-oh, I hit that magic number, the big 4, I'm 40, or the big 5, I'm 50. This is when your body falls apart. I've had kids, I've had the big change, like I'm done, that's a wrap, my best years are behind me. Not true. It's not age, actually. It's the compound effect of losing muscle, right? So if somebody was saying, hey, in my 20s, I was super fit and I played sports, you said, great. When did the lifting stop? And they're like, oh, right around 24. I stopped sports, I stopped going to the gym, and here I am standing in front of you, I'm 38. I'm like, great. From 24 to 38, your body loses about 4% of muscle mass a year. It has lost it for about 15 years here. And so we are standing here now because your metabolism is slower, because you have lost 4% muscle mass for 15 years. It's not because of your age of gaining 15 years of chronological age. It's because of the loss that occurred by you not doing resistance training. And so again, let's not sulk and complain. The human body is a wonderful thing. It can bounce back really quick. It builds muscle when you put resistance and stimuli on it. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to have you do things like squats and push-ups and rows. We're going to put resistance on your body, not because we want to make you look like a big, gigantic bodybuilder, but because just even a little bit of muscle mass can make a significant change in your metabolism. So that's what we're going to do here, Mrs. Jones. We're going to get you under the bar. You're going to squat. You're going to chest press. You're going to row. You're going to do all these things, but we're going to pick weight that's right for you. We're going to make sure your form is spot on. And then when it's spot on, we can add more weight. But until then, we're going to just really focus on form, because another thing I put on here is lifting weights is a skill. All right. Just like learning a new language or learning how to ride a bike, all these things are skills that you have to work at. Well, no one walks into a gym and has picture perfect squats and picture perfect presses and picture perfect rows. You're making little tweaks, one iteration at a time. It's like, again, a language, like, nope, pronounce it a little differently. You're gonna say it a little bit like this. And so making these little minor tweaks, even like seasoned lifters like myself, you could be 15 years into lifting and still making improvements on how you squat and how you do your moves. So it is a skill that you do over time. And not only are you improving that form, but then you're also adding more weight to it, right? And now you're kind of playing games. You're like, I'm going to train a little bit heavier. I'm going to go for 5 reps, but I'm going to max out my weight. I'm going to see how much I can really lift because I'm only doing 5, or I'm going to do lighter weight. Now I'm going to do 12 or 15. And so now you can do these different types of approaches to challenge yourself in new ways. And so this is the final one, but I would actually say it's the biggest one in terms of how to really jumpstart your metabolism. Is get away from building muscles like only for the guys, over there in the free weight area, and it's for the meatheads. Ladies can be strong. We get many ladies strong at our facility at Lead the Way Fitness. And in fact, tends to be the strongest women tend to be the ones getting the leanest and the most fit. And you'll see a very lean woman go grab these big dumbbells and you're like, what the heck? And it does not mean big bulky muscle. All right. The thing that creates the big bulky muscle is your diet and your hormones. So if you see those big bodybuilder, bulky women, I promise you they are usually not natural. They're usually taking some sort of assistance, enhancements, let's call it, AKA steroids. Okay. The female body doesn't tend to release that much natural testosterone. Even guys don't. You don't think I want to look like The Rock? Like if I could go in the gym and throw around some heavy weight, look like The Rock, I'd do that tomorrow. Most guys would. We don't, because even us, we only have so much natural testosterone our bodies make. But what most of us want is just that nice, tight tone, lean figure, right? That lean body that's just, like just dense and tight, and it just looks nice and muscular, right? It's not about being too skinny. It's not about too muscular. It's right there in the middle, right? That's what most of us want. Well, that's what strength and resistance training gives you, is to just focus on that. And over time with diet changes, regulating those hormones, you will get to that area that you want to be, that goal body. All right. So guys, before I wrap up here, is there any questions about those final two regarding lifting, weights, hormones, walking, stress relief? Good.
I have a question.
Sharon, yes, bring them.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you since I have your attention. For fat loss, does it matter if you do more reps, less, or more weight, more, I'm sorry, you know what I mean?
Yes.
More reps, less weight.
Heavier or lighter. Yes. Weight, more reps, less reps. So they say that the best thing is to just make sure that you are staying challenged and that you're staying engaged. So if you ever get bored because somebody told you the best number is 12 reps and you do it for a month and a month later you're starting to get bored, it doesn't matter if it's the best number because you're bored. So you have to be engaged. You have to be, really walking up to the weight and saying, oh my God, here we go, let's do this. And like, you have to be, kind of really there in the moment, present. And that usually requires variety. So that's why I say the best reps only last for a certain amount of time. And that's why one of the things we really encourage our coaches to do is to play with different rep schemes, because people do get bored. I get bored. They get bored. So you want to do a period of time where you're going to do less reps. You're going to do 5 or 6 or 8 reps, but you're going heavier. And then you're going to swing the pendulum the other way, and now you're going to do 15 reps. And sometimes you're going to come in the middle and you're going to do 10. So that way, when you go back to your 5 reps, now you're stronger because you've trained in different ways. So yes, you want to do the opposite of what you're doing now. I'm very conditioned to always do 10. And so I challenge myself in periods to go to 20 reps because that is outside my comfort zone. And then to go down to 5 reps and to load the weight heavy, because I know 10 is my comfort zone. And if I catch myself living in that 10 rep scheme for more than a couple of weeks, then I tell myself the next week, you got to do one of the extremes. You got to go heavier and lighter and less reps, or you got to go lighter and you got to do more reps, but you can't live in this because your body doesn't change, right? We get into these comfort zones, these ruts. So just make sure it's changing, and it's the opposite of what you've done for many, many weeks. I wouldn't say more than a month. It's probably about time you need to change your rep scheme. So that way your muscles stay challenged.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Good.
You bet. Okay. So guys, we are going to wrap this puppy up. I just got one more component here to show. And, I know there's definitely a lot of people on here who are already training with us at LTW, Lead the Way Fitness. But if you're not, I want to invite you to join our 6-week Little Black Dress Challenge. This was a transformation on the left here. Ashley, you see she had a wonderful transformation from her before to her after in her little black dress. This was another client I found who did the little black dress last year. And in her 6 weeks, she lost 11 pounds, 3% body fat. And so she was just feeling phenomenal. She was extremely proud of her numbers. And so that's what we want you to, kind of go through, is you're going to be lifting weights and getting strong during the workout component. And we're going to train hard, but then we're going to party hard, because the reason it's called Little Black Dress is at the end, we have a little black dress party where we celebrate results. We have awards, we got DJ, music, good old time. So if you guys have not registered yet, it does begin September 26th. The deadline is next Thursday, the 22nd, and it's $2.99 to register. You get 2 small group training sessions a week, and that's where the coach really pays attention to your form and make sure that you're doing it properly. Then you get unlimited boot camp classes. We are going to be doing an elimination diet, and that kind of goes with my talk earlier about single ingredient foods. We're going to get rid of dairy, gluten, and added sugars. So fruit is allowed, but you just can't add more sugar like honey and sugar, you know, sweetener to your coffee, things like that. So we're going to do that. And that has gotten our clients amazing results on the LBD. And then, you know, it just really makes you force yourself to learn to eat single ingredient foods, because most of the processed foods have dairy, have gluten, or they have added sugar in it. Like I showed earlier, the Ritz with the high fructose corn syrup. And then finally, there's going to be accountability and support. We're going to check in on you, make sure you do your body scan, because it's a cool machine. The InBody will show you how much water weight you have, how much muscle, how much fat, and then how many calories your body burns. And so it's cool to see those numbers progress over time. So that is it, guys, for tonight. If you guys have any other questions, I'd love to stick around and do a little bit more Q&A, because I definitely want to give you guys as much advice as I can. I want to circle back to some people that were talking earlier. Cindy, is there anything specific I can help you with? Any problems that you are having?
No, actually, you